Do it. All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Stacy. I think most of you know me. I am really excited to be here with all of you for the spring 2021 Girls Rising reading. This group is just mind-blowing. I'm so excited for you all to hear their work. And some of the pieces that you'll be hearing have been in development for several semesters. Some of them have been in development for like a few days. So we've got a huge variety of work too. I mean, you'll see there's all kinds of stuff. I'm really excited. And I also just really appreciate this time with these students, like especially this semester, we really dove into some political stuff and some social activism, and we had really deep conversations this semester. And these students are so mature that, sometimes I forget that you're all not in college. It's really mind-blowing to me how intelligent and just also really compassionate you all are. So thank you so much for being here and for doing this semester. It was a total treat. Okay, jumping in. First up, I have the Zoom order here. I think you probably could all read it. I'm gonna put it one more time in the chat, so it's the most recent thing that you can see. So first up, we have Zalier's piece. She has a piece titled "Witches." I'm gonna screen share it for her, and then Zalier, I'm just gonna take my cue from you. So when you're done with each page, I'll just keep scrolling down. So give me a second while I pull that up. I see it here. All right. Do you all see the comic? Are you all seeing just the comic?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. I just want to make sure you're not seeing like other stuff and it's distracting. Okay. So amazing. So you're seeing
the other pictures as well.
Let me go back up to the very, very beginning. Zalier, that's good for you?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. I'm gonna mute myself. This is Witches by Zalier Mackey. Take it away.
You can move this one. Next one. Wait, should I read them or should I just like let other people read them?
Sorry, I was on mute. I was saying yes, I think you should read them.
Okay. It's too early for this. Fine then. Next page. What the heck? What is up with you and stay back. I know taijutsu. First of all, that's a lot. Second, you punched like an old lady. I need to put it like that. But that's not important. Right now, what's important is your cooperation. So,
Progress.
Huh? Wait, did somebody say something?
No, go ahead, Zalier. Sometimes when people come on, it'll repeat the recording something, so it sounds like an announcement.
Oh, okay.
But don't worry, keep going.
So you're kidnapping me. Why are you so calm about that? Well, Grandma said that. Wait. Well, Grandma said some people would be coming to pick me up for summer camp. It'd be really sneaky and cool. It's like spy camp. You already know that, don't you? I could smell the stupid rating off. Wait, I can't read my way of writing. No, just get this one.
No, you got it. I can smell the stupid radiating off of you, right?
Oh yeah, I can
Go
smell
ahead,
the
you're doing
stupid
great.
radiating off of you. I didn't think it'd be this bad. So, are you the counselor or not? Yes. In fact, in Spy Camp, we have a special way of getting to camp. Is this a portal? So cool. Wait a minute. Something's off. Really? What could possibly be wrong? I didn't sign up for a furry camp and get dressed as a furry with magic. That's it. Caddy? She must have already left. I'm not screaming on camera, so. I don't know what to do for Thought Bubble, so she just thinks that she's gonna die. You can open your eyes now. Why'd you kick me, you deranged furry? Don't call me that. And it's not my name. So let's get started with introductions. My name's Clover, your familiar / guardian / companion. My what now? Familiar. Animal companion of a witch. The most common one is a cat, but that's for basic magic users. Oh. So you're calling me special? Take that, Samantha. You're definitely special, alright. So, Clover, what are we doing first as witches? I'm a familiar. Right. The first thing is your clothing. You can't go around wearing a tank top and shorts. Now let's see. This should do. I'm not really a fan of dresses, but this one came from Magic, so it's cool. Glad you like it. Wait, what does the other one say?
The last thing on the, you mean, what does it say?
Yeah.
Now we've got to get going. Enough time has already been wasted.
Well, yeah, you already said it. So, okay, next one. By the way, what are we doing? Wait 1 second. I actually need to read through these. Wait. By the way, what are we doing? Will it be like going on a secret missions? Will I be able to summon stuff like you did with that book? When will I be able to do that? Wait, will I turn into a furry like you? I don't want to be a furry. Why is the sky yellow? This dress is itchy. Why are the clouds red? Oh look, there are 2 suns. Is it morning or night? If I'm a witch, where's my broom or wand? I'm hungry. I wonder if Grandma knows where I am. Are you wearing a costume? I like peanut butter. Does she know where I am? Is the ground made of snow? Will you please shut up your trap for 1 minute? It's been less than 5 minutes and I want to drop a mountain on you. You can do that? That's so cool. Anyways, and then she continues talking. Please, God, tell me what I've done to deserve this. So then she continues talking. Hey, why'd you suddenly... Did she stop? Okay, moving on. What in God's good name are you doing? Heading up on it? Get away from that thing. Why? You jealous or something? Not at all. You look awfully friendly. Please be friendly. Or not. You don't have to or anything. I just like not to die. There's really no talking for the next ones. Thank God that's over. Now, how about, what is wrong with you? So you finally decided to return from your retreat. No, actually, I was just heading to Corktown and happened to pass by. Oh, really? We're heading that way too. You should come with. Did I say Corktown? Silly me. I meant Meadowfield. We're also headed that way. You know what? I think I might have left my oven on. You don't own an oven. You're coming with us. Clover? Hmm? Who is he? And how do you know him? Oh, his name is Sorrel, and he's also your familiar. And he will be coming with us. Wait, am I supposed to have two familiars? You haven't explained anything to her yet? No. One, because I need to focus on getting to Corktown in one piece. Second, you can do it. And third, I don't speak Dirt Muncher. She doesn't speak what now? It's not important. What is important is that you know what's going on so you don't almost get killed again. I should probably start with the Shadow Beast. Oh, you mean that black rabbit thing? Exactly. That was just a normal rabbit. That was just a normal rabbit that was corrupted by shadow magic. When they're shown affection, they double in size, so don't touch them whatsoever. Right. Any other questions? Yes, actually. Why am I here? I'm supposed to be on summer vacation, but instead I'm walking with furries to a place called Cork Town. Did she? Did she just call me a furry? Us. She called us. Well, then, to clarify, we are not furries, but creatures that your kind have not discovered yet. And to answer your other question, you're here for the elemental trial. The what now? Hmm?
You can keep going. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Elemental trial. It's to test the abilities of a witch. You pass by collecting 4 gems and activating the touchpad. Wait, not touchpad. The launch pad in Corktown. But because of this whole Shadow Beast epidemic, and the fact that you know nothing about magic, is going to make this a lot more complicated. Wait, this is an epidemic? Oh yeah. Witches and familiars alike are being corrupted by the Shadow Beast. So Clover and I are really your only line of defense. Not to have without doubt, that's very worrying. But as long as you don't touch any more beasts, we'll have a 50% chance of surviving. What was our chance before? 30%? Comforting. See, I know you'd understand. Mindhead, Dirt Muncher. That's where it ends.
Woo! How incredible is that?
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, what?
Awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, incredible. So to move it along, this is also I think it's really nice because it can live in the chat too. I know that many people are going to have a lot to say about each piece. So we usually do this, and I forgot to say this earlier, but as you're listening and following along, if there's any parts that really move you, resonate with you, make you laugh, make you smile, make you cry, make you feel anything, or if you really appreciate something, any positive love that you want to throw at the writer, put it in the chat, so we can share like our excitement. Yes, I'm so glad because yeah, so good. Thank you, Zelier, for all your hard work. So next up, we have another incredible writer. Kiara Hodge has her piece, Blood, that she has been working on for multiple semesters. And it is a full book. It is over 200 pages, full book. All right, Kiara, where are you? I'm gonna see. Kara. Oh, I see. There you are. Okay, Kara,
Hello.
take it away. You're however you want to do it.
Okay, should I screen share?
It's up to you. Whatever you're most comfortable with.
Okay, cool. So should I start?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Hello. Hey Ella, I see you have had quite a fall there. Ella opened her eyes. It was black, and in front of her stood a boy a few years older than her. Who are you, and where am I? My goodness, do you really not remember? Fine. I'm Nicholas Brown. We've met multiple times before, our last meeting nearly killing you, and you are in the cave. Better? No. Why am I here? You are here because you are. I'm not sure why, but you are, and thus you must deal with it. Ella glanced at the boy. Why is it all black? You're the only thing I can see. Really? Interesting. What is it? What are you afraid of, Ella Bishop? Ella didn't respond immediately. I don't know. How do you know my name? You know, I do tire from answering the same questions over and over again. What do you mean? Well, all you ask is what, why, how. Is that bad? Yes, when you're the one answering your queries. Ella glared at the man. But you didn't answer my question. What are you afraid of? I already told you. I don't know. I think you do. I don't, Ella scoffed. Nicholas rolled his eyes. When you say you don't know what you're afraid of, that implies that you're fearless. Are you fearless, Ella Bishop? No, nobody is. Wise answer. But because you know that you're not fearless, you know your fears. Please reveal. Ella paused. You know you are very annoying. So I've been told, Nicholas said with a smirk on his face. And you really just can't trust people. Have you heard that before? Ella was silent. Yes, I thought so. You know, you should really try friends. They can be helpful. I have friends. Do you? I was under the impression that your only friend was Miss Clove Anderson and she left you. Am I correct? She didn't, but she did. She left you and she left you again. She won't come back to you, Ella. No one ever has, no one ever will. That's not. What about Cassandra? She's my friend. Oh, you mean the girl who you inserted into your life to fill the empty void in your heart. Such great friends, you know. You should really be best friends. Oh, wait, she already has one of those. Accurate? Ella slowly backed away from Nick. Oh, don't be sad. You're not completely alone. You have me. You always have had me. I don't know you. Ah, but you do. Wish you could remember me. Such good friends we were. Don't you like to have friends? His voice had shrunken down to an eerie tone. Stop. What are you doing? Ella cried, her heart rate increasing. Teaching. Ella frowned. She suddenly felt her feet rise from the rubbery floor, her eyes rolled back into her head, and her arms were grabbed by a slimy black substance that seemed to come from nowhere and held Ella steady on a firm wall that seemed to have recently appeared. More of the goo circled Ella's arms and legs, and then it ran across her neck and chest. It slid down onto her stomach and in her waist, until almost every inch of her was covered in the black substance. Finally, the goo spread up her neck and finally concealed her face.
Amazing. That is the most terrifying passage. When I read it, I was like, ah, and then I somehow recommended that you read it because I thought everyone else should experience how chilling it is. Incredible job. Thank you so much, Kiara. Amazing. Okay. All right. Next up, we have Josie. Josie's also been working on this piece for a couple semesters. Josie's going to read a portion of her piece titled Crumble.
Yeah, so I'm also not going to share my screen. Just, yeah. But, yeah. So, for those of you who haven't, seen the rest of my book, where we last left off is my character tragically got injured after having a pretty bright future of running ahead, which left her in a wheelchair. And, she was at the doctor's office and they were discussing possibilities of amputation to see if that could, help her career because she was supposed to go to the Olympics. So yeah. My parents ran after me, but they were not really trying. I pushed out of the building and hailed a cab. I would be home in no time. It was a struggle getting into the car, but after a short 20 minutes I was home. I was planning on taking my friends to dinner Lucky that I did, because that meant I had my credit card on me. The moment I got home, I collapsed. I had dreams of the Olympics, but this was all too much. Getting my legs stretched out for no other reason than the chance of running again. My parents said I needed to sleep on it. I wish I could. The moment I closed my eyes, I knew it was pointless. I grabbed my laptop and started looking at Babytation. By hour one, I'd seen all the horror stories, the regret, and death the internet had to offer. Um, um, by the time hour two rolled around, I had somehow ended up on a serious website, thank goodness. It talks about below the amputation, and it said that the knee was important for movement, and cutting above it could lead to catastrophic damage if not done properly. Soon enough, though it was late, my coach must have caught wind of what happened, so she called me to see if I was okay. That's where I left off.
Thank you, Josie. Amazing. And I also just want to give a shout out to Josie for the amount of incredible research that she's done. Pretty, it's astounding how much time, almost like the equal amount of research time into the writing, which I just so appreciate and respect. Amazing. Next up, we have Xanthi's piece titled Wicked Witch. I love this piece so much, so I'm very excited for y'all to hear it. I'm going to spotlight you, Xanthi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm reading a section from my short story called Wicked Witch, about a girl playing the Wicked Witch of the West in her school play. So, girls and boys, a voice boomed from behind them, even though there was only one boy. Precisely, Miss Snow's voice. It is not time to be chit-chatting about silly topics such as crushes. Madeline's face returned to fuchsia, so she had heard. Get up, all of you. We're beginning rehearsal. Ebony, Kenny, Prisha, and Madeline quickly got up. They were in trouble. Prisha began began her apology. We're sorry, miss. We were just talking, and Miss Snow held out her finger. It looked like it would be cold to touch. Just shut up and act. Well, if that wasn't the most theatrical insult Madeline had heard Miss Snow say in her 2 years of drama club at Woodyside Middle School. There was that time when Miss Snow had cursed at a 6th grader in Shakespearean, and Madeline at the time had thought that was really funny. But this wasn't funny. Madeline, it's your turn to be on stage. It's the scene where we meet the Wicked Witch, so we need you to make sure the audience gets the aura of the character. In other words, I need you to overact for a bit, Miss Snow said promptly. Madeline nodded. Okay. She grabbed her script and walked up to the stage, where Ina, the boy who played Toto, the Munchkins, and the girl who played the dead Witch of the East were there. The girl who played the Wicked Witch of the East wasn't actually going to be crushed by a house, since there was no house set piece on stage. The lighting people were just going to use some special effects for the typhoon, and the girl would just fall to her feet in a dramatic way to show that a house had fallen on her. Though Miss Snow said it was a way for theatrical purposes, everyone knew it was just because the school didn't want the girl's parents suing them for dropping a box dressed as a house on their daughter. When it was her turn, Madeline said, putting on her best Wicked Witch voice, Who killed my sister? Who killed the Wicked Witch of the East? Was it you? Answer me. Miss Snow interrupted the scene before Allison, Glinda, could say, Leave her alone, in a classy late 1930s voice. Perfect, she said, giving a little silent clap with her hand. But try to sound more sad about your sister's death, while also sounding out like a Wicked Witch of the West. Madeline nodded from the stage. Sounds sad, but like a wicked witch. Sounds like a sad, wicked witch, she said inside her head. Did Margaret Hamilton have such a hard time playing the Wicked Witch of the West, too? Who killed my sister? Madeline said sadly, but also sharply. Increasing the hostility in her voice, she said, Who killed the Wicked Witch of the West? Was it you? She asked, looking at Ina. Answer me. Leave her alone, Allison said, acting as Glinda. You stay out of this, Madeline said with a wave of her wand. She turned back to Ina, but then spaced out. She looked down at her script. I'm looking for vengeance, she said, reading from the script. So it was you, was it? You killed her. Didn't you? Ina jumped back, but it was really Dorothy who had jumped. No, it was just an accident. I didn't mean to kill anybody. After a moment passing of no dialogue, Miss Snow said, Perfectly normal to forget your lines. Ina, it's really, I didn't. Ina nodded her head like Madeline had done before. They continued the scene all the way up to Madeline's favorite, I'll get you, my pretty, and your little dog, too. Maybe it wasn't so bad playing the Wicked Witch of the West.
Yes. Nice job, Xanthi. Yeah, that acting, it's perfect for such a theatrical piece too. Oh, so much fun. Hearing it out loud, it's just like, I feel like I'm just watching a performance piece. So it's super fun. Thank you. Next up, we have AJ. AJ is going to be reading Whimsical. It's a gorgeous piece. AJ seems to write like multiple like full books each semester. I don't really know how you have this stamina, but it is so impressive. AJ, I see you here. Okay, AJ, I'm gonna screen share for you. Hold on just a moment. Oh, there you are. Okay, I'm gonna spotlight you first. Hi, AJ. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on just a moment. Whimsical. Okay. You can take it away whenever you're ready, AJ.
Hi. So my book Whimsical is basically about this teenage girl who is like having her stardom of like being monarchy or like royalty, and she's also like a princess, and it's like the Victorian era. So okay. The first chapter's name is Ladder. People say I'm neither rebellious nor elegant. I'm a mix in between. Sometimes I read those novels where the princesses are so stubborn they want to be a village girl. Those novels where the princess's mom will live on a farm for a day and play with pigs and get mud on their luxurious hair. That's just crass, because who would step down from being royalty? Somebody ruling, everyone acting as if you're the best of the best, and being respected, and lastly having some dignity. I would like to rule, take charge. Having that ability could change my world for the better. Some say I'm spoiled by being a princess, but I see it as a gift. I love the daily daisies I get from strangers, the daily embraces from strangers, and the corsets. Yes, they're comfortable, but they aren't the most disastrous thing in the world. My mother thinks the other way. The classical way where corsets and daily daisies are a curse. She thinks that ruling is a curse, a mishap, a fault, a mistake. That should never happen. And so does my sister and brother, but we don't talk about him. I'm first in line after my grandmother passes, and she's 97, so it's almost my turn. When I was younger, I was more the adventurous type. My grandmother was never like that. She was just downcast. But at least she was monarch. At least she is monarch. My grandmother was the woman who didn't accept the daisies from strangers. And she never yelled when the corset was tightened. I still grasped the daisies. I still had humanity left. Daydreamer, I'd have mocked as she accidentally spilled wine on the floor. I'm no daydreamer, I faltered, staring at the gold ceiling. You wish all you do is daydream, I'd have exclaimed with like triple.
It's not daydreaming, it's memorizing. Ida's room was full of daylight and abstract portraits, crystals and stacks of books. In the cluttered room, there we sat on the shiny marble floor, discussing thoughts. Mesmerizing what? Ida inquired, wiping the red line from the marble floor with a soapy off. Times better than these I have. What are times better than these? Ida inquired. Being the Queen of England. Oh, how I just died for that, I voiced as my eyes gleamed with just the thought. I can't comprehend your diligence for being a queen. Quite simple, I gobbled. Oh, really? Who wouldn't want to be the queen? Who wouldn't want to be part of monarchy? I questioned. Anyone with a brain. I rolled my eyes back with a scoff. Are you saying I have no knowledge? I inquired.
AJ, I'm
I'm
gonna stop.
saying you have to get your priorities straight. I exclaimed. And how would I do that? But not mesmerizing, but not always mesmerizing, but being the Queen of England. I replied.
AJ,
Why?
I see the sound is still going for some reason.
What did it do to you? I queried. See, anyone who brain would know that Montague.
I'm gonna wait for it to like play out because I can tell that the voice is like playing catch up. So let's just hold off for just a second.
I responded to Claire. You don't know that I snapped.
Okay.
She took a deep breath as she scrubbed the floor intensely.
Okay. I think that the delay has caught up. AJ, your piece is so gorgeous that I want to make sure we hear it. And it's amazing that we can read along, but sometimes it's super clear, and it's fast, but I think it's just like because it was really slow before and it's playing catch up. Basically the sound quality is so off that I think that we should probably figure out a solution before you keep going, because I want to make sure people. So I think if you are able, AJ, log off of Zoom and then log back on and make sure that you only have your piece and Zoom open and nothing else, perhaps that can help.
Hello?
I think we should try it again. Yeah, if you can, I'm also, thank you. Brandon's helping me out with some tech support here. So I'm just basically saying what he's saying. I think she just bounced. So I think that's what we can do is when she comes back on, I'm gonna give her another shot to try this again. I'm gonna stop the share. So thank you everyone for your patience and for helping out with some tech support. So we're gonna go to the next student and then we'll bounce back to AJ when she's back. Okay, so we have Ella. Ella, you have an untitled piece. I don't know if it's still untitled, or I'm trying to find you right now.
Oh yeah, no, my camera's off, but it's still entitled.
Okay.
Yeah, it just doesn't.
Let me just try to manage. Hold on a second, AJ. Okay, awesome. So Ella, I'm gonna have you. I would love for you to read your piece. So AJ, are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have. You can hear me. Okay. I'm gonna have Ella go, and then and we're gonna bounce back to you and see if we can figure out the sound thing. And we're able to read your piece, which is great.
Okay.
So at least we'll try it again after. Awesome. Thank you. Okay. So Ella, take it away whenever you're ready.
All right.
I'm really excited.
So here's a small explanation of my story before I start reading. It's supposed to be a slice of life story that focuses on a high school somewhere in hell, which it has a lot of different creatures. The story's main character is an eldritch horror named Stitch, and the passage is about his relationship with Thoth, who, according to Thoth, is his mortal enemy. Stitch walked down the hall with Shiva to their next class. He was lucky to have some classes with Oz and Shiva, but biology was a class he was not looking forward to. It was quite frankly boring, and Stitch thought it was completely pointless. On top of that, he had to sit next to Thoth. Confrontation in general made him unbelievably nervous, especially since it was with the one guy in the entire school who absolutely despised him. As he walked into the room, he was immediately hit with arguing. Thoth had his feet up on the desk, and Naz was lecturing him. Get your feet off the desk, you jerk. It's extremely rude. I can do whatever the hell I want. Az opened his mouth to yell a retort, but only scoffed and rushed to his desk. He rolled his eyes and started chatting with a ghost girl, but Stitch could tell that every so often he'd look back at Thoth for a split second. Stitch quietly sat next to Thoth. Table's mine. Don't sit next to me. Sorry, there aren't any other seats. Stitch quickly glanced around the room. To his relief, Thoth didn't protest further. He looked over at Az for a split second. The ghost he was talking to had turned around and was now talking with her friends. Az looked a bit lonely. He just seemed upset. It was almost as if the fight had really gotten to him. He sighed before resting his head on the desk. Stitch felt pretty bad for him. I think you upset him, Stitch muttered as the teacher walked into the room. He looks really down. What? I don't care if I hurt his feelings. He's just a stuck-up prick with a hero complex. Stitch gave him a look. I thought you two were friends. And he looks lonely. Maybe you should apologize after class. Thoth scoffed. You really thought we were friends? As if. He only hangs around us because Shiva likes him. That's a fair point, I suppose, Stitch mumbled. Shiva liked everyone, so it made sense in his mind. He shut up after that. Conversing with Thoth was exhausting. Halfway into the stupidly boring class, Stitch felt a hard tap on his shoulder. He turned around, a confused expression on his pale face. Can I borrow your eraser? It came out as more of a statement than a question. Stitch groaned loudly. He was already bothered by how forceful Thoth was being, even over a simple eraser. Well, I'll give it to you on one condition. Stitch figured this was a good time to make the little deal with Thoth. I want you to tell me why you hate me so much, he sighed. You always act so angry, but especially around me. I've been wondering if something's wrong since I just don't understand, he rambled. What in the world are you talking about? Hate you? What? You're spouting nonsense. I don't hate you. And that's it.
Yes, so good. I put my favorite quote in the chat, but also like I could have just quoted your whole piece. So good. It's so funny. You bring us right into the world and the premise is just gold. Thanks, Ella. All right. AJ, we're gonna try again. Let's do this. I'm gonna try sharing your piece, and worst comes to worst, if it's a little we'll get through it. And we're reading it alongside you, so it's not the end of the world. And reading alongside you, so technology is really tough. And you want someone else to read it in your for you, or you want me to read it? Follow along. So just private message me as we go if it's not working well, if you have a preference. Okay, so I'm going to screen share again. All right, AJ, whenever you're ready, we're going to try this again. I'll stop you after a page. And let me know what you want to do. All right, go for it.
Okay. Can you hear me?
We can't super well. AJ, another option is calling in. So we wouldn't necessarily, what you can do is, there is a trick. Remember the trick? I think what you can do is that you can dial in on on your phone, even like a landline, and then the audio will be super clear. That is definitely no. I think it's really hard to hear. Do you want to try dialing in? If you dial, I can troubleshoot with you, and I can send you the phone number too. That's what I'll do. So why don't we do this? I'm gonna stop sharing right now. I'm gonna while the next student is going, I'm just going to shoot
Stacy?
you. Yeah.
So what you can do and then
Oh no, I don't think I can hear that either. I'm so sorry. All right, so yeah, so what we'll do next is we'll just have the next student go, and then we'll go back to you, AJ. And in the meantime, I'm gonna shoot you and your mom like the calling in option. Perhaps the sound quality will be stronger. Okay, so next up we have Juliet. Juliet has a piece she's been working on and like tweaking and kind of reimagining called Daydreams, and it's absolutely beautiful. So Juliet, where are you, Juliet? Oh, there you are. Okay.
It's kind of short. I'm still working on the chapter, but this is the second chapter so far. Basically, she's running from some guards that are chasing her, and she just fell, and she's running from them. I fall onto my shoulder onto what feels like concrete. My vision is a bit fuzzy and my head is throbbing. I can barely sit up and look around, but when I finally do, I can see that I'm on a roof. After a minute, I hear the gate screech open and the guards yelling. I drag myself over to the edge of the roof just in time to see them run down the street in the opposite direction. I sigh and sit down. I can probably stay up here for a while. I can hear voices from inside the building below me. You think it's another cat? A muffled voice says. A cat, another one says. Yeah, those ones that live on top of the wall, the one around the city. Maybe. You should check the roof, see if it's hurt. They grumble, and after a second reply, all right. I jolt up. Wait, I'm on the roof. I hear a muffled clatter and footsteps, and they get louder from the left. I whip my head around and see a door. The doorknob rattles, and I realize that I need to leave, and quickly. The door is locked, the first voice shouts. I jump up and look to the right to see there's a fire escape ladder. I run to it and start to climb down, and I hear the door on the roof scrape open. Nothing's here, it must have run away. The footsteps leave, and I hear the door slam shut. I jump to the ground, and I can see that my hand is still bleeding from my fall earlier. I should probably find some bandages from somewhere. I check to make sure there's no one is there before walking out onto the cobblestone road. I turn around to look at the building I came from and see a wooden sign hanging from the roof. In large white letters, it says Everything General Store. It's kind of a strange name. I'm getting a bit of a weird feeling about the store, so I'm about to walk away, but my stomach growls loudly and I realize I haven't eaten since yesterday. I sigh and turn around and walk into the Everything General Store. That's all I have right now.
Yes. I love this piece, and I love how much it's changed. And like, I think I said this last time, just how much I admire your revision process, and how this piece is just it's just so like fantastical, and to feel from AJ's title, it's very whimsical as well. It's really cool. Thank you, Juliet. So next up we have Romy. So Romy has, her piece is titled The Crazy Life of Katie Summers. And I'm also going to screen share that. So, oh, sorry, Juliet, I see that you're still spotlighted. Let me. Okay. Romy's, okay.
Okay, you can skip down because there's like a whole like page that was not used. Okay. Chapter 1. Oh, and this is about a college student who works at Target. Yeah. Okay, chapter 1. Katie, I woke to the scratchy yelling of my boss, Mr. Burns. Ah, you stay back, monster of birds! I half awake, half asleep yelled. My eyes started to focus. I found myself face to face with my worst nightmare, Mr. Burns. Katie, come with me. I tucked a bunch of loose strands behind my ears and followed him. Katie Summers, this is the second time you have fallen asleep this week. I nodded slowly. I wished Mr. Burns would understand my pickle. I had college classes during the daytime, work after classes, and homework at night. So all in all, I had 4 hours of sleep. As Mr. Burns kept rambling on, I tuned him out and thought about how I was going to spend my saved up money. I had $10. Katie, Mr. Burns yelled, cutting off my train of thought. Yes, I asked, a bit frustrated. You may leave now. I nodded again, stood up fast, and ran to my counter. I waited. Got in trouble with the heartless beast. I looked over and saw my best friend, Raven. Hey, I said weakly. Look, I know it's heartless, but you shouldn't be falling asleep at Target Mall. Be going to bed. Homework, work, and Nora, I simply said, laying my head on the counter. Nora was my roommate. She means well, but she's really neat, perfect, and shy. Unluckily for me, she's burned up to a high level of cleanliness. Can take naps and do her homework anytime. She's also rich, so she doesn't need to work. And she doesn't have any friends. What is that girl? Nora! I shout. Yes, Nora. That's who I'm talking about. Are you feeling okay? No, I mean, Nora is here. Raven and I both freeze as we see Nora walk over with a humongous smile on her face. Hey, friend. Hey, I say with so much less enthusiasm you could notice even if you were 50 miles away. I noticed that you haven't been busy, so you couldn't be with me all the time. So I made you this, she said, holding up a felt cupcake. And on the bottom of the wrapper, it says, best friend of Nora Solomon. I love it, I said, wincing as a sprinkle fell off. Show it to everybody so they know you're taken. Taken? I asked. Yeah, you know that you're my friend already. Nora, you know we can both have more than one friend, I said pointedly. Nora waved away what I said like it was a fly. Hey, I'm Raven, Katie's friend and coworker, Raven interjected as I gave her a no look. You're what? Nora said. She's obviously crazy. All but security. Security! Security! No, I said quickly. She's a friend. I already told you, you're my friend, Nora said. Someone beeped at me at my counter. Thank you, I whispered under my breath, desperate to get out of the situation. That's what I have for chapter 1. I can share more if you want.
Amazing. And I apologize, Romy, because I realized I wasn't scrolling down because I was also trying to troubleshoot. So I apologize that it was stuck on that one page. I realized that. I'm so sorry. But I have to say, you're such a strong performer. And you're such a strong performer, and you're able to the way that your dialogue bounces and your voice is you basically perform that so well that I'm not worried about anyone following along at all. So I appreciate the humor and the just love and energy that you put into your piece. And I apologize that I did not scroll. We're gonna go to the next person is Sylvia. Sylvia's piece is called Coloring in the Lines. All right, Sylvia, take it away whenever you're ready.
Is the screen sharing working okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, so just backstory. This is just about a girl, and she just it opens with her like coming home from school with her friend, and they leave and she goes home. So nothing really important that you missed. The next morning was Friday, so I had to get to school early, 7:30, for a weekly assembly. Even though it was summer, it was barely light outside, and I was never a morning person to begin with. My dad padded into the kitchen, yawning, with his curly brown hair still ruffled. He was a writer and liked to sleep in when he could, but he always got up early on Fridays to see me before I left for school. He handed me a cup of milky tea, and I gulped it down gratefully before slinging my notebooks into my backpack, before trudging at the door to the bus stop, 3 blocks from my house. On my way out, I considered getting a sesame bagel across the street for breakfast. It was only 6:38, and if I caught a bus soon after getting it, I could make it to school on time. I checked my phone. The MTA app said that the bus was 17 minutes away, but it was frequently unreliable. I decided to take a gamble and walked through the red light to Feldman's. Eli, the owner of the bagel shop, grinned when he saw me, dipping his head in greeting and adjusting his dark green kippah. He was the second oldest son of Levi, who had started the business 46 years ago in 1967, but retired at 63, 20 years ago. Eli had run the store for years before I was born and had known me all my childhood. He often gave me free bagels when I ran with skin knees or spent my allowance too quickly. And he joked that it wouldn't be a Saturday morning without my dad stumbling in sleepily for 11 a.m. brunch bagels and lox. Sesame? Eli asked. I grinned, nodding, and handed him my $5 bill, stepping in line behind a short kid with bright blue streaks in their hair, the kind I've always wished I could pull off but never had the courage to ask my dads if I could get. Oi, no, Eli waved away my money. This is a favor. Your father has raised a good girl. Give him my blessings. Flushing a little, I thanked him and slipped it in the tip jar. Tisking kindly, he handed the kid in front of me a warm brown paper bag with the top neatly folded over. I tripped to the side as they swirled out, and Eli reached over the counter to hand me my bulging bag. I thanked him and ran to the bus, making it just in time to catch the limited. My app had been right for once. After a quick, empty bus ride, I scanned my school ID and headed up to the third-floor auditorium. I was glad it was only 7:12, as being late made me fidget and pick my nails with anxiousness. And since few other kids would be this early, I'd have my pick of most any seat in the 8th grade section. I loped to the back of the section, nodding at Emmett, a boy in my math class, before plopping my bag onto a hard plastic chair on the raised platform where the back seat sat. Stacy, a girl with blinding blonde hair and a chronic inability to restrain herself from chatting, scooted her chair closer to me. I winced at the scraping screech, but tipped one corner of my mouth up and greeted her. Even if she could be annoying, as someone who had a hard time talking to people I knew, let alone new people, I had to admire her affability and bravery. I listened to her chatter about how she'd heard from Leia that Adam asked Christy to ask if Em liked him, how she forgot to bring an umbrella and was worried it might rain when she was walking to Hannah's house after school, and how nervous she was to meet the incoming 9th graders. Look at my arm, I'm just trembling, Lily. 300 new students, 300! Can you believe that these will be the people we spend the rest of our high school life with? A whole 4 years? Do you think they'll be nice? Do you think they'll be smarter than us? I can't believe I wore this stupid skirt today. Do you think my braids are babyish? I reassured her that her yellow skirt was very cool and her braids were not babyish, but a liquidy nervousness rose in my stomach. What if she was right? There were so many new kids. What if they were smarter, thought my sneakers and jeans were stupid? What were the chances in a 400-person grade that I'd be with Jamie next year? What if I didn't know anyone in my class? How would I make friends? As the seats around us filled up with other 8th graders, students I'd been with since kindergarten, Stacy turned away to gush with Vincent and Will, and I scanned the 8th grade section frantically for a grounding, familiar face, Jamie. I couldn't find her, and the fear bubbled higher. I looked down and saw that I had inadvertently crumpled the neatly creased top of my bagel bag in my sweaty palms. Suddenly, my fear turned to hunger, and I opened the bag. A familiar yeasty wisp of steam blossomed, and 2 bagels peeked out at me, instead of just the one I'd paid for. My stomach settled, and I silently thanked Eli, tearing into the warm, delicious nuttiness of my sesame bagel. Our principal, Miss Miller, shuffled on the podium in her navy blue suit, and adjusted the mic noisily, clearing her throat and calling for the students' attention. Her voice was unusually raspy. She droned down about what amazing individuals we were, and how glad she was to have seen us grow as both students and people, all through elementary and middle school, to the beautiful, smart, talented young adults she saw before her today. Just as I began to tune out, Miss Miller announced that we'd be having first period off today, for a longer assembly. In fact, we'd be meeting the incoming 8th graders, and we'd be paired up in small groups to get to know them and show them around the school. We were to make friends and make them comfortable, Miss Miller said, because starting next year we'd be forming the new bonds and friendships that would last us our whole lives. She gestured at the kids sitting where the 3rd graders normally sat, and they began to stand up, a few at first, then all at once. Among the first to stand up, I saw heads with brown hair streaked with blue. It was the kid from this morning at Feldman's. That's all I have so far.
Yay! Sorry for the delay. Amazing. That was so awesome, Sylvia. I love it so much. I mean, I'm so there. Anything with bagels, I mean, is pretty much, I'm there for. But that was just such a gorgeous, gorgeous story. I'm so excited to read more. Thank you. All right, next up, we have Ruby. Ruby has a collection of work, and she's going to read two pieces, The Boy West and Only in the Summer. I'm going to screen share for her. I'm just going to paste the rest of the order in the chat here. Okay. Here's the order, and then AJ, we're going to squeeze you in there as well. Don't worry. Amazing. All right, so let's get to Ruby's piece. I'm going to screen share for her. Okay, great. Okay. Where are you, Ruby? Let's see. Oh, there you are, Ruby. Okay, let me spotlight you for you. Awesome. Okay, so let me scroll. Oh no, here we are. We have The Boy West. Okay, take it away whenever you're ready.
Okay. During her third attempt, Kate nearly got crushed by a wave. She was standing by the shore, eyes shut tight in concentration. It wasn't until she felt the spray of fresh salt water on her cheek when her eyes flew open, and she noticed the 15-foot wave approaching the shore. She scurried back, sand and water flying in her face, as the wave smashed to the shore with a thundering crash. Kate growled and brushed the sea foam off her shirt. She stood to her feet and scanned the beach. She was still east, she could tell by the commotion on her right. Vacationers swarmed around tents and tour shops. Many dined with tropical drinks and laughed with one another. It was difficult to distinguish the line between the wood tables and the seashore, making Kate's goal twice as hard to achieve. She took a minute to consider her options. She could do more exploring east, but that might get her lost. It might even wake her up. But no, she was still headset on finding the Boy West. Kate slept night after night trying to control her dreams, but she was self-taught. Her habits were unpredictable, and she'd often done up in different places. But this beach was distinctive. She'd been here enough times to know it was important. Something connected to reality. The first time she saw the Boy West, it was a cool autumn afternoon. Kate wasn't surprised. In reality, it was late November. But there was a peculiar chill to the breeze, one that was more surreal than usual. A thick layer of mist was spread over the sky like a cloudy sheet, shielding the blazing sun without shadowing the landscape. In life, she'd spent every summer by the beach since infancy, but this place had no trace of similarity whatsoever. After all, it was only a dream. While East had a lot of commotion, West was the polar opposite. Not a single person stood by the shore. Actually, the area was a lot more elevated and closer to the dunes than East. There was no chance of getting soaked by water. The stretch often contained treasurable shells and marine indulgences. However, this was the most precarious part of the beach. Whenever Kate started to cross west, she could feel her consciousness rising and verging on waking up. Then she had no idea how many days it would take to reappear. Kate had seen the Boy West once. Last week, she had been roaming west and spotted one figure by the dunes. He was slender and tall, with flaxen blonde hair and a pale complexion. He wore a simple white shirt and navy jeans. He had a strong aura of introversion around him. Although he remained completely silent, his hands were constantly in motion. As Kate looked closer, she noticed what he was doing, crafting paper origami stars at the speed of sound. The boy was slim but daunting. No one knew him. The first time Kate advanced, remaining 20 yards away from him, he shot daggers as hard as steel from his icy cobalt eyes, flashing a handful of paper stars. Kate quickly retreated. Whenever she woke up in the morning, every moment of last night's dream would drain directly out of her mind. She forced her eyes closed, trying to hold on to every remnant possible. But by the time the sunlight lined her curtain, her thoughts morphed into liquid, slipping from her grasp. But every now and then, Kate would remember a specific person or two. She could still envision his shaggy blonde hair, red and blue paper stars. She knew that she had something in common with him. She only had to figure out what. She had to find him again. Tonight she appeared east, which wasn't much of an advantage. After nearly getting drenched by a wave, Kate knew she had to try harder to control her space. She had to go west and search for the boy, but she could only see the other side. One wrong turn and she might step into oblivion for the rest of the night. This would require some special form of teleportation. After several minutes of searching, Kate found a small, isolated spot by the beach with no people within a range of 10 feet. She was far away enough from the ocean, but not too close to the commotion east. Kate took a deep breath and gazed out at the sea. She split her mind in two. Half of her focus directed on the horizon, the line far out where the current was smooth and touched the sky. She then envisioned herself west, west, west. Her eyes remained on the horizon for a solid minute or two. Then she blinked and regained her surroundings. She was closer to the shore, but standing on solid sand. There was no commotion, no sound whatsoever, except for the foam gently licking the tide. She hoped she hadn't gone too far until she looked behind her. The boy West was curled up by the dunes, shaggy blonde hair shielding his eyes. Although his hands were in constant motion, they moved more swiftly than vigorously, energy without zest. The creasing of the paper was somehow completely silent. Kate didn't want to know whether or not he noticed her, so she casually looked down and took slow, small steps across the sand. She once again kept her mind in two positions, one searching for prizes but keeping an eye on the boy West. Kate didn't roam too far. To stabilize her position, she knelt down and picked up a shiny, almost translucent, coin-sized oyster shell. She smiled and ran her fingers over it. When vacationing, she often made necklaces for her mother and friends with these types of shells. The first time she glimpsed at the boy, it was difficult for her to make out his facial features, except for his cobalt blue eyes. When she finally looked up at him, he was still folding away, staring down. At that moment, Kate felt a strange flash down her spine. This time, she was certain, more than ever, that they had something deep in common. Kate could only wonder what. She had friends in life. She would socialize with others regularly. The boy West was the opposite. He clearly despised company. But Kate had a way with people. She always discovered how to get someone to warm up to her. She could be amicable and friendly. Actually, she befriended many of the new kids who would come to her school, and she'd been at that place for 9 years before starting high school. There had to be some way to contact the boy West. Kate took a minute to examine the shell. When she looked up, the boy West now sat twice as far away, glaring at her intensely. He flashed 3 paper stars in his left hand. She had the feeling that if she threw them like frisbees, 3 of her fingers would go missing. Her mind instantly screamed, "Run!" But it was too late to make a decision. As she clutched the shiny oyster, Kate could feel her consciousness dissolving into reality. She stared at the boy West, trying not to wake up, but the blue and gray of the beach was soon painted orange, and her eyes fluttered open. Now awakened, Kate cussed herself and sat up groggily, running her hand through her smooth obsidian hair. She opened her palm, wishing that the oyster was there, but all that remained were memories. Memories! A smile tingled on her lips. She'd done it. She'd made it to West. For the first time, her strategy didn't slip away. Kate didn't know when she would next see the boy West, but she was positive that she would find him again. Should I read the second one?
Yes, please.
It's called Only in the Summer. I remember it all. I've always remembered it, and I always will. I'm walking into the kitchen late on a Friday night, cleaning up after the leftover pesto pasta and kale salad. I open Spotify and turn on the soundtrack to In the Heights. Was that echo mine?
That was me, sorry.
You're good.
Okay. I open Spotify and turn on the soundtrack to In the Heights. As I scrub the dishes, the music comes blasting from my headphones, and for a moment, I'm lost. My eyes flutter closed on their own will, and my mind drifts into memory. Recollections from years and years ago, sixth grade to be precise. But that's only biological, not after my high school transformation. The torn leather seat is hard against my back as I lean against my backpack and heavy purple coat. My limbs bounce and shudder as the bus chugs along. I don't mind. When 96,000 radio edit turns on, I glance out the window and smile. The sun has barely risen over the gleaming waters of the Hudson River, various shades of blue shifting across the smooth pastel surface. On the left are tall, wide buildings with broken signs over the awnings. I pause the music as we pass by, chatting with my friends at the sight of our new president's name torn down. I lay back and absorb the sunlight, delicate notes pulsing through the headphones plugged into my ears. The air is slightly stuffy, but the breeze slithering through the cracks of the windows makes it more than easy to breathe. A new day is about to begin, with no idea what there is to come, but as long as it's early, I can enjoy the music and save my troubles for later. The song stops, and I snap back to reality. I'm closing the dishwasher and I'm about to leave when Dear Theodosia starts to play. I want to complain, that's not what I asked for, but I soon realize that it's exactly what I need. Oh dear, another trip to the past. It's a bright August day, fresh countryside wind wafting through the giant house and into the dining room where the five of us are feasting on berry waffles and orange juice. On the front patio, vibrant honeysuckles are blooming, pink petals curled back, inviting me over for a treat. To the left of the house are infinite tiny pebbles, carving a path to the driveway. I still remember how the stones would graze and chafe my bare heels, yet massage them at the same time. There are only 2 cars parked this morning. Beyond the driveway is the barn, a massive empty space with no more than 2 couches and a Shrek pinball machine on the grimy stone floor. On second thought, I probably left my sleeping bag on the floor, but that won't be an issue. To the right of the house, past the living room and outside the ping pong room, is a path to a 10-foot tall trampoline, border is sealed with a zippered net. The rubber is scattered with leaves as usual, all the more enticing for fun competitions and games like Drunksome and Doofus. I hope I won't be the first person tagged out this time. Beyond that is an endless rolling field of wheat, hundreds of massive strands of gold swaying in the breeze. I slide another waffle onto my plate and grab a small saucer of Eve's homemade strawberry blueberry compote. The scent is blissful. All the strawberries are fresh from the patches near the pool. Only in the summer would they bloom, making them all the more delicious. It's early in the morning, no later than 9 o'clock, so Todd and Eve will probably drive us to the tennis court soon. My purple watch is fastened around my wrist as usual, hot pink cap buckled tight. Everyone around the room seems to be upbeat this morning. Oliver and Liam sit opposite one another at the long ends of the table. I'm pressed against the wall closest to the kitchen, with Alexa and Jonathan across from me. I examine Oliver with his icy blue eyes, irises fragmented like endless snowflakes. Alexa, dressed in all white with her short brown hair pulled back. Liam with his transparent red and blue glasses. Jonathan with his cute, endearing grin. We're all conversing as we eat, enjoying the warm Connecticut air, the house I'd visited so many times that it feels like a second home. A box of seltzer sits at the end of the table next to Oliver. Jonathan reaches over to take another can. He remarks that it's his 3rd drink. Then, almost as if on cue, the 5 of us suddenly burst into rap in perfect synchronization. 2 pints of Sam Adams, but I'm working on 3. The boys crack up, and so do I. Alexander Hamilton is the next song on tonight's playlist. I'm once again outside the Cornwall Pool House, which is the smallest of the 3. It's the same 5 of us, with Liam and Jonathan's older brothers here as well. I'm doing triple backflips underwater, which is pretty impressive considering how awful I generally am at swimming. I'm watching Maxwell rotate 6 to 7 times before emerging from the water. Michael is just totally normal. In fact, most of the boys are out of the water by now. I'm freezing the moment I step out of the pool. I yank off my goggles and wrap the flowery towel around me tight. My wavy hair is drenched and completely tangled. When I step into the house, the first thing I notice is the piano in the back center of the room. Behind it is a delicate wooden ladder. I never tried to climb it. The second floor is no more than 4 feet high. Liam used to tell me there were spiders all over the planks. That kept me away for a long time. Today, Oliver is sitting at the keyboard, playing the same 4 chords of Hamilton's opening song over and over. Jonathan is standing next to him, so I swoop in and sing along. Recalling the lyrics takes no effort. I simply allow them to roll off my tongue. Jonathan smiles, and so do I. The same smile from all those years ago is plastered on my face as I slowly return to reality. Just me standing in the kitchen late on a Friday night, reminiscing about my past and what used to be. The music turns off. I exit the room, but feel like I'm back in Cornwall, Connecticut, breathing in the scent of warm countryside air and homemade berry compote. I've always remembered that sensation. I always will.
Oh, so gorgeous. Thank you so much. Let me stop
Thank
this
you.
lighting on you. Stop the share. Okay. Oh, that was so stunning. Thank you so much for sharing. I love how your voice is so consistent through both. Like you can tell that you're the writer, and yet they're so different and have completely different tones. It's a huge testament to your writing. Yeah, amazing. Okay, so next up we have, I see all these amazing, this amazing feedback in the chat. So I'm just scrolling up. Ooh, we have Kayla Miller's piece, Catastrophe is next. So exciting. Okay, here's the order. I'm gonna put this one more time in the chat. And I'm gonna have AJ go right after Vivian. And I'm gonna have you, Genevieve, still go last. Okay, fantastic. So Kayla, hello, Kayla. Spotlight for everyone. Hello. All right. Let me find your piece. I'm going to screen share for you. Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, let me screen share this. Sorry. Hold on. All right. I hope you enjoy Kayla's piece and her disclaimer.
I'm
in
just
general.
gonna read the intro because
Take it away.
I have a lot more. I have a whole thing too, but I'm just gonna read something really short right now. The branches, all a bright, blinding green, reached out and tangled in the thick, moist air. The satisfying squelch of her boots in the slimy mud and the squeaking of the skinny squirrels filled her sore ears. As she trudged into the deep swamp, light seemed to slowly disappear. Her feet pounded into the ground, but at one point they got caught in a vine. A tiny yelp escaped her as her arms flung from backpack straps to brace her fall. Her chin crashed into the rough surface of a rock and warm blood trickled down to pool in the crook of her neck and collarbone. Face tingling with pain, she pushed herself up into a sitting position. As she was wiping up the crimson liquid, a rumble, a snap, and a faint hissing noise came from her left side. She looked over to see a snake? A dead vine? No. What is that? A leathery arm shot out from the dirt, and its hand wrapped around her ankle, and she screamed as she was being pulled under.
Yes. So I read this like a bunch of times, and I literally, I don't know if everyone just saw that, but I literally just like had like a shiver. And like that's how like creepy and eerie your piece is, and I'm so excited to read more. Kayla's also publishing a collection of these like flash fiction pieces that are so much fun to read, and some of them have as much gore. So I hope that you enjoy them. Thank you, Kayla. All right, let me stop. Perfect. Okay. All right, so then next up, we have An Abnormal Child by Vivian. Vivian, I'm gonna try to find you. Oh, here you are. There you are. Such a great title here. Okay, hold on. Awesome. All right, whenever you're ready, take it away.
Okay. I swallowed a glass of tepid water. Everything was okay. Everything was okay. It was just another nightmare. Nothing was wrong, I told myself, as I watched a car crash for the 11th time in the last hour. I was shaking all over, fear flooding all through every inch of my body. But I wasn't going to cry, I reassured myself. I had the dream again. Each time it was slightly different, but every time it started with the memory with the memory from 3 months ago when me and my parents had first moved into the apartment complex named Rudolph 7. I don't know why I keep thinking about it. The memory just kept returning to my mind and I couldn't get away from it. I pressed my palms against my ears as if it would make me forget that warm summer day that had gone so wrong. I finished scribbling in my dream journal about my repeating dream before slipping it into my backpack beside my bed that I had packed with all my needed and favored belongings, just in case I had to leave the apartment in a hurry. My phone made a ding. I'd gotten a text from Beetle, the Williams girl from the house across the street. Hey, are you doing all right? I know that a lot of people have been killed this week, and I just wanted to make sure you weren't one of them. I knew that this girl meant well, but the message was a little misleading. But I knew that Beetle was socially awkward, odd, and often rejected by people who wanted to be her friends, but well-meaning, and that she had lost her mother and sister recently, so I didn't say anything about the odd directness in this message. I only knew Beetle because a couple of years ago, me and my best friend at the time, Jennifer, were drawing with chalk on the cement. A girl came out of the house across the street. She had bright blonde space buns and was wearing overalls, smiling widely. She had introduced herself as Beetle Williams, the weird girl from across the street. Jennifer had laughed. I was slightly intrigued by the weirdness of this girl. When she started talking, she didn't stop. Eventually, Jennifer and I left Beetle to continue talking about her great aunt who ran away on her 70th birthday to marry someone who lived in Florida and never been seen since. I only had her phone number because my mom and her mom were close, and my mom suggested that I try again to be friends with Beetle and gave me her phone number. We rarely had conversation, and when we did, I normally said things like, "How are you?" and "What have you been up to?" which, as most people should know, don't lead to interesting conversations. Oh, she said things like, "My great-great-great-grandfather killed his wife because he put his jacket on a chair and put a cantaloupe on top of it. And when she walked over and said it was time for bed, the cantaloupe rolled off, and she freaked out and died." I responded with, "She just died right there?" She texted back, "No, she died a year later." Then she went on about how he went into a cave and carved an inkwell with a pen and didn't come out for a couple of years. Apparently, she still had the inkwell he carved. And now her mother and sister were dead. I sighed out loud. "Yeah, I'm fine. I hope you're doing well." I texted back quickly and put my phone down. I took a chocolate bar off the table on the side of my bed. I broke off a piece and shoved it into my mouth.
Yeah. Is that where you're ending? Yes. Wait, that's where you're ending, right, Vivian? Yeah, okay, just want to make sure I wasn't cutting you off. Amazing. I love what you added to it too. Some of that stuff is new. But oh man, what quirk. Yeah. Beetle, the ant, the cantaloupe. Oh, it's gold. The cantaloupe story is real, she says. Amazing. So AJ, hi. All right, we're gonna go back to you.
Hi,
how are
guys.
you?
I'm good.
We can hear you, I think.
You can?
Yes.
Oh, okay, good.
I'm
I'm
so
sorry
happy
about
that oh my gosh, don't apologize. I'm so glad that it's working now. I felt so bad. All right, here, let me go to your piece. I have it. Hold on a second. Let me pull it up. All right, let's try this again. All right, let's do it. Thanks, AJ.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard before, but I'm going to explain the book a little. So the book is basically about this princess's stardom of royalty and monarchy, and her name's Aphrodite. Okay, so the book's name is Whimsical, and the first chapter is Lavender. People say I'm neither rebellious nor elegant. I'm a mix in between. Sometimes I read those novels where the princesses are so stubborn they want to be a village girl. Those novels where the princesses want to live on a farm for a day and play with pigs and get mud on their luxurious hair. That's just crass, because who would step down from being royalty? Someday ruling, everyone acting as if you're the best of the best, being respected, and lastly having some dignity. I would like to rule, take charge. Having that ability could change my world, for the better. Some say I'm spoiled by being a princess, but I see it as a gift. I love the daily daisies I get from strangers, the daily embraces from strangers, and yes, and the corsets. Yes, they're uncomfortable, but they aren't the most disastrous thing in the world. My mother thinks the other way. The classical way where corsets and daily daisies are a curse. She thinks that ruling is a curse, a mishap, a fault, a mistake, that it should never happen. And so does my sister and brother, but we don't talk about him. I'm first in line after my grandmother passes in 1997, so it's almost my turn. When I was younger, I was more of the adventurous type. My grandmother was never like that. She is just downcast, but at least she is monarch. My grandmother was the woman who didn't accept the daisies from strangers, and she never yelped when a corset was tightened. I still yelped. I still grasped the daisies. I still had some humanity left. Daydreamer, I'd have mocked as she accidentally spilled wine on the floor. I'm no daydreamer, I faltered, staring at the gold ceiling. You wish all you do is daydream, I'd have exclaimed with slight charcoal. It's not daydreaming, it's called mesmerizing. Ida's room was full of daylight and abstract portraits, crystals and stacks of books. In the cluttered room, there we sat on the shiny marble floor, discussing my thoughts. Mesmerizing what? I'd have queried, wiping the red wine off the marble floor with a silky soft cloth. Times better than these, I huffed. What are times better than these? I'd have inquired. Being the Queen of England. Oh, how I would just die for that. I voiced as my eyes gleamed with just the thought. Can't comprehend your diligence for being a queen. It's quite simple, I guffawed. Oh, really? Who wouldn't want to be part of monarchy? I questioned. Anyone with a brain. I rolled my eyes back with a scoff. Are you saying I have no knowledge? I inquired. I'm saying you have to get your priorities straight, Edith exclaimed. And how would I do that? But not mesmerizing about being the Queen of England, Edith replied. Why do you hate monarchy so much? What did it do to you? I queried. See, anyone with a brain would know that monarchy will end someday and democracy will rule. Edith responded with a glare. You don't know that, I snapped. She took a deep breath as she scrubbed the floor intensely.
Woo! Yes! So worth the wait. So worth it. I love how you every piece that you write is set in a totally different place and time period, and how much thought goes into them, and really like morph the dialogue, the setting, and the time period is astounding. I could never do that. Yes. Photos there for sure. So thank you, Abe. Awesome job. Last but not least, we have Genevieve. So Genevieve, you are reading your piece Timber.
Yes, it is
Very
long.
Genevieve is working on 2 pieces this semester. They're both fantastic, and I'm very excited for you to hear Timber. Whenever you're ready, Genevieve.
Okay. When the sun rises to my left, I can see the sky is flaked with wispy white clouds, faint like dry brush strokes. The blue behind them is vibrant and pale. A bright red barn sits atop a small hill in the distance, so red it makes the warm blood on my clothes seem plain and muted. The wind is gently weaving its fingers through my hair like a mother, a lover, a baby. A mother, a lover, a baby, I say out loud. I have a strange, intense feeling that I have once been all of these. I take a deep breath of clean, empty air and feel cold and blank. I push myself off the ground and stand up, teetering back and forth until I can balance my feet. I feel like a tumbling bag of bricks, each part of myself scraping roughly against the other parts, right down to my hair, which is thick and dry, and my thoughts, which are screaming in throbbing desperation. I place my jagged thumb on my forehead where I was kissed many years ago, and the scraping cools to brushing, as if through a horse's mane. I'm standing in a valley with hills going up on all sides. None are more than 20 feet tall. Behind me is the edge of a forest, and I can almost smell hickory nuts roasting over a fire pit and crispy cold pine. I can see seagulls circling around the valley, and I can hear their piping calls. The ground beneath me is yellow and dry with small plants peeking out of ridges. The air is cool and the floor is warm, but my body itself is numb. In this intricate mix of seasons and biomes, I can feel nothing at all. I am just some bones and skin caging a plethora of breathless psychedelic thoughts. Having no sense of direction to my name, I bring my heavy feet step after step in front of me, leading towards the bright red barn. As I walk, I cannot make out any source of pain on my body that could have spilled the blood that is caking my green collared shirt and black shorts. My toenails are painted with bright pink nail polish, chipping away like the metal of a rusted beam, of which there is none around. Metal, I mean. The scenery is dated and gray. The only color that keeps my heavy eyelids open is the red barn, like the last good cherry in a basket, sitting appealingly on top of 7 mushy purple ones. I imagine tasting this cherry. It tastes quite good. The red barn has a yellow door and a green doorknob, each equally inviting. I can tell the knocker is carved from a log, as there is a knot in the wood about halfway down. The handle is a seagull with its beak pointing downwards, much like the seagulls I had seen circling above. I tap the knocker against the door 3 times and wait for a reply. The only sound is my bare feet wriggling on the dusty ground. I turn the green doorknob until I hear a click, eager to see what could be on the inside of this last good cherry. The door swings open, little creak in the hinges, as if it has been oiled regularly. The interior is simple, boring even. A table is set for 2, with a blue flower and an old pasta sauce jar as a centerpiece. I can't see anyone in the first room. I continue inside, my dirty feet leaving a trail from the door. I step onto something soft and regretfully look down at the fuzzy white carpet. Looking back up again, I notice a chest of drawers and open the first drawer. The top item is a college shirt identical to mine, with a chocolate stain on the front. A photograph sits on the chest of drawers. It is faded and pushed into a wooden frame with hot glue sticking out of the sides, like it was made by a small child. The photo itself is a view from the doorway of a light blue bedroom, with a wolf bed and rocking chair. I look down the hallway and see a corner of the wolf bed through an open door. As I walk down the hallway, I feel as if an invisible string is sticking through my chest, pulling at my bloody heart, dragging me towards the door. A rich smell of metal and rock cascades from the door. I cross the threshold. The string pulling at my heart is snipped with invisible scissors, and my heart falls into my legs. A man is laying in front of me, swimming in a lake of red. The blood around him is thick like mud. I stand frozen for a second before I step forward. My dusty feet feel the blood under them, but in a second they can only feel the cold wind flooring, as suddenly the blood retreats like a losing army, seeping back towards the man like a magnetic ferrofluid. The blood meets around a knife sticking out of the man's stomach and disappears. For a second, everything is silent. I feel something push me, and I reach towards the knife, pulling it out in one swift motion. The man shoots up like weeds in the summer. I falter backwards, a clean knife in my hands. The man looks at me with fearful desperation, like a small animal. His words are choppy. "Timber," he screams. "Timber. Me give for, please. Sorry, I'm..." And then his expression changes from fear to fury. I push the clean knife into my pocket. His hand is clenched in a fist. He grabs my shirt collar and pushes me forward. "You could how?" he screams. I can't understand him. He releases me. He walks backwards towards the door, stomping. The door slams behind him. I can hear him marching away. I stand trembling. I pull the knife out of my pocket and slide it under the wolf bed. I sit down on the bed, my head against the cold pink wall with 3 intricate layers of paneling and insulation and bricks. Calm, smooth bricks. I can almost hear a child's laughter echoing down the hallway, but I can't tell if it's exterior or coming from inside me. I close my eyes and try to remember the world outside this house. As much as I furrow my brow, I cannot seem to remember any of it. All I know is that I am here in this room, with pink walls and a wolf bed and 1 window and 1 light that does not flicker. I look outside. There is no rain or sand or smell of pine. My college shirt and black shorts are fresh and clean. The sun is setting like a candle wick, disappearing into nothing. I breathe out a warm breath that hangs in the room and slowly hugs me to sleep.
Wow. I love that we ended on that note. What a thriller. Genevieve, what was your inspiration for this piece?
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, yeah, I have no clue. Sorry.
I love that we think it's one thing, or I say we, I mean, obviously me as a reader, I think it's one thing, and then it's totally something else, and then it's totally something else. Wow, it manages to be both gorgeous and like horrifying at the same time. Really amazing work. I mean, I know that in the very beginning I said that my mind is blown by these students, but I think that that is justified, especially after hearing everything out loud again. it's really incredible. I mean, these students, you know, range from 10 to 16, 10 to 15, I forget, 10 to 15 or 10 to 16. And it's that's incredible. I mean, if you told me that you all were, again, like in college, or some of these pieces are, you know, professional, I would absolutely buy that. So that's how incredibly detailed and rich these stories are. So thank you all so much. We're so over time. I'm so sorry. There's another piece that we collectively as a group wrote. We wrote like one big Girls Rising poem, but that will be published in the publication. So I'm excited for you all to read that. Maybe I'll include that in the email when I send. I'm going to take this opportunity to turn, for anyone who wants to say anything, feel free to unmute yourself and just kind of go for it. It's gonna be chaotic.
Stacy, I need to say something to you. I'm Ruby's mom. Hi, nice
Hi.
to meet you. First of all, you girls rocked it. I am so impressed. And Stacy, you are a very motivating teacher. And I thank you very, very much for the work you've done with Ruby and clearly everybody else. Am I right or am I right, girls? Give me a thumbs up if I'm right.
Like, I don't know.
Can you tell that I'm also a teacher, which is why I'm so bossy? Anyway, thank you so much, Stacy. Really fantastic.
Thanks, Miranda. I so appreciate it. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, feel free to go off and just, you know, anything you want to say to each other, you can use this time to celebrate. I'll take a step back.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you so much, Stacy.
Thank you,
Thank
Stacy.
you, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you, Stacy. This is awesome.
Thank you, Stacy.
Thank you all. You're all amazing. I'm so proud of all of you and everything that you've done. The anthology is going to be coming out as soon as we can get it ready, and I can't wait for you all to read everyone's work. In the meantime, feel free to stay in touch. Unfortunately, we have no summer program, which really stinks, but I'm around. So if any of you are writing, please share your work with me. I will read it. I will give you feedback, send you love, all of that. So thank you all so much.